Uh. Barber College Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cutz Academy, JC, Crown Cutz Academy, Bristol, Virginia, and now Proficient Academy, Nails, downtown JC. Spreading love the Tri-City way is one way, but spreading love the Crown Cutz way is the only way. You know how we do it. We got a big episode on for you today. My co-hosts, they've been gone 2 weeks. They're coming back next week. My guy, Jay Boogie, was at a competition, and my guy, M.I., he's on vacation with his family. But you know what? We still got to go. The show still got to go. We're going to make it rock. We got my guy, a special episode today for my guy out in ND. I'll let him come on and introduce himself and tell him we're just gonna talk and freestyle and just have a conversation. Again, we're doing barber stories, we're doing student stories, we're just giving the barbers trying to get into this industry a world view, a bird's eye view of what this industry is about and what's going on. My man, introduce yourself.
Hello, can y'all hear me pretty well?
Yeah, you on the mic. You doing good.
My man. My name is Bryan Lomax. I go by the name of Master Barber Bryan Lomax. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm Master Barber 317. Born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I developed a love for hair at an early age. My grandmother was a beautician. My aunt, rest her soul, she was a beautician. And when I was 13 years old, my mother sent my older brother to barbering school. And he would come home and teach me what he was learning in barbering school. So I would charge kids in the neighborhood $3 a cut. This was back in like days. Yeah. So that's how I got started. Then of course life goes on, man. I, developed a love for something else, man. But I've always had a love for hair. And then
circle back
into some. What's that? Yeah, circle back to it, man. I mean, ran into some obstacles in life, man, and I had to do some serious praying, man. And God led me to what my true calling was, and that's cutting hair.
For sure. That's big. How long you been cutting hair now?
So legally, license-wise, since 2014.
Right. But totally, how long you been in this industry just cutting? I mean, hey, it's
cutting, man.
You got to be transparent. That's what it is. We want the raw
version.
No
doubt.
That's what the podcast is about.
92.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Good. So, I mean, that's a while back.
So you went to school in 2013 or 12?
I went to school in 2013.
What was that like going to school after you've been out in the industry so long, just cutting hair? And what motivated you to go to school? Because you could have easily stayed and just started and just kept cutting and being that rogue barber. But something in your heart was telling you, I need to get this thing right.
So that's it right there. I wanted to do it the right way. I understand that I knew how to cut, but there was more that the school had needed to teach me. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just cutting hair, man. You got to learn about infectious diseases, sanitation, skin diseases, and all kind of other things, man, that hood barbers don't know about, man. If you're not properly cleaning your equipment and you're passing hepatitis from one person to another, man, that's serious business right there.
That is serious business. And a lot of barbers, they don't understand that. And a lot of barbers think, yeah, I can cut. And it's a lot of debate out there on internet everywhere saying, man, I don't have to go to school. I have to do this, blah, 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 and this and that. But it's an importance when understanding the whole gambit of the industry and understanding passing those diseases, understand what a pathogen is, understand what a virus is, what is a parasite. When those things come up and you see them, you just can't cut over it.
Exactly. And then also a lot of guys are into that Beijing hair color.
Right.
So I had to learn about different chemicals as well too, man. So I didn't want to cap off my earning capabilities because of my lack of education. So that was part of the reason why.
So when you was cutting previously before you even got to school, so you say that's possibly like what, maybe 20 years of cutting hair without a license. Mm-hmm. Could you instantly tell your confidence, how it went up, and your ability to increase your prices from after you went to school?
Absolutely. I was on a whole different level of professionalism. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of, after I got my certificate, when I completed barber school, you know what I'm saying, I was able to beat my chest like a king, you know what I mean? Because I've earned that. You know what I mean? I have the right to say that I am a master professional barber. You know, I stood, you know, I went through it, you know what I mean?
That's big. That's big. So talk about your memories of school and where did you attend cosmetology school or barber
So
school?
here in Indianapolis, Indiana, we have a school called the Vocational College of the Arts,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's owned by a lady. Her brother is a well-known barber here in the city of Indianapolis, Kenny's Barbershop.
Right.
Real popular guy, Greg Kitty. So I kind of got the best of both worlds because she was brought up in that family. She learned how to cut from her brother, and then of course, what was taught to her was taught to me. It was kind of a challenge because at that time, you know, I was a couple of years off divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole paying child support, paying college tuition was kind of
that's part of it.
Yeah, kind of a balance, man. And so I remember talking to her, and I was working 2 jobs, man, while going to school.
That's a
I had
story of
2
a lot of
jobs.
students. That's good. That's a
Oh
story of a
yeah,
lot of students.
big time, man. And so I remember telling her, I said, "Hey, listen, this is rough on me. You know what I mean? Working 2 jobs and trying to juggle this." And she's like, "Hey, look, are you gonna do it or are you not gonna do it? You know, don't make excuses.
Right.
Excuses build monuments to nothing and bridges to nowhere. You know what I'm saying?" So she's like, "If you really want this, you're gonna make it happen at all costs." And that's what I did, man.
You sound like my quote that I tell the students when they come to school.
Oh yeah,
Excuses are the tools of incompetence, which build monuments into nothingness. And a
that's
person
right.
who practices them will be seldomly good at nothing else.
Oh yeah,
That's what I tell
facts.
every student when they come during the orientation. That's the first thing they hear. I'm like, hey,
Oh, okay.
you come to school. I done heard them all the excuses of why you can't come. But if you really want to be a boss barber, you want to take it to the next level, you can't keep making these excuses because it's not going to get you nowhere. Nobody's going to listen to them. It's going to
Nobody.
start, yeah, you keep making excuses, it's going to affect your income, it's going to affect your reputation and your retention of clients. Because
Right. That is
when
so
that
true.
time, when that time comes, clients want you to be there. They want you to be available because
Right.
they're paying you for a service and you got to come through. If you can't, somebody else will.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Plain and
Absolutely
simple.
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
So talk about your memories in school. What was it like? Was it even though you knew how to cut hair, was there a transition into learning different things into the school setting?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I was in there with other students that were, you know, that were there to learn as well. You know what I mean? So, and I developed a real good, you know, family brotherhood with a lot of the other barbers. There were some things that they would teach me, and there were things I would teach them. You know what I'm saying? So we were able to build. Um, Also, we were able to practice on each other. You know what I'm saying? The different ideas, man, of and different styles of cutting, man. That's what helped me out being in the classroom setting.
Were you willing to learn or were you just a student? Because, you know, with all your experience coming in, almost like 20 years of experience, some people might come in with that attitude like, man, I done did it all. I'm just here for my license. Y'all can't teach me nothing.
Oh no, man, I was far from that, man. I was willing to learn. Like I said, I thought I knew it all before I went to school. When I went to school, I realized I didn't know much of anything.
Yeah, because I remember a student came to school one day and he's like, you know, I can already cut. I don't really need to learn nothing. I'm good. I put the straight razor in his hand and
Oh
he
wow.
almost cut himself.
Wow. Yeah, little things like that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's huge right there, man. It makes I know when I was learning the straight razor technique, we practiced on a balloon. I'm not sure if that's what you do.
Yeah, we do that too as well.
Yeah, yeah. And it was boys popping balloons left and right.
I mean, and it's easy to say I got this because a fade after a while, after so many repetitions,
Mhm,
you're gonna get good at that. But
mhm.
what I try to tell students is more than just a fade. If a
Right.
fade is the only thing you can do, you're stuck.
That's it. That's it. Because you got different people with different hair textures.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
one
learn
of,
it.
one of the issues that I struggled in, man, was shear cutting.
Oh, that's it. Most of us.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's before I guess I could cut hair, but I can only cut a certain type of hair.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
And
going
and
to school allowed me to learn the clipper over comb, shear over comb, you
and you don't
know.
want and you don't want to limit yourself because you understand that for growth to really make some boss bread, you got to diversify your skill.
That is so true. Absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So now, how long did it take you to finish school?
So here in Indianapolis, it's $1,500.
Yep. That's
And is that how it is? Is that how it is where you are?
Yep. In Tennessee, it's 15. Most states,
15.
it's about 1,500.
About
Some
15.
states I know, like Virginia, so I think it's 1,100 in Virginia.
Okay.
And typically I think Kentucky, North Carolina is 1,528 or 32 hours. So it's about around there. Same thing.
Yeah, I was. Our classes were Tuesdays through Saturdays, and on Mondays, most barbershops are closed here on Mondays, and school, barbering schools, cosmetology schools are closed on Mondays. And so what would happen is you would have people doing certain different hair seminars on Monday, and my instructor, she would tell us to attend these seminars. You know what I mean? And she would give us like 8 hours of extra credit for attending these seminars.
Continue education.
I was supposed to, yeah, absolutely. So what took everybody else like 10 months to do, I got it done like in 8.5 because I would attend seminars on Mondays. Yeah.
You was motivated. That's what I like about sometimes.
Facts, man. I wanted this. I really wanted it.
But that's the good thing about being an older student at times too, because an older student, you understand that, hey, I got to get this done. I can't be playing games. I can't be missing classes. I can't not take advantage of these classes because I'm paying money and I have kids. I have a life to live. So I can't make excuses. I can't waste time.
Right. Exactly.
So you say you got done by 8.5 months?
About 8.5 months. Yeah, I was supposed to have graduated in August of 2014, and I got done like in mid-June.
That's big.
Yes.
So what was your fondest memories of school?
Oh man, just developing lifelong friendships with a lot of the people. The business part, learning how to conduct a business, and then product selling.
That's important. That's important. A lot of people sleep on that.
Yeah, I have my own product. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's big. You got to shout your product out.
Hey, most definitely, man. I sure do. It's right here behind me. So it's called Master Barber Products, right? I have a shave gel, and I have an antiseptic.
Okay.
And so some of the issues that I would run into where I would have female clients that didn't want to smell like men after haircuts. You know what I mean? So I developed this unisex minty smell antiseptic.
Wow.
To clean around the edges of the scalp after haircuts. You know what I mean? Women love it, children love it. It's enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and it's full of aloe vera gel. Yeah, and it's the same for my shave gel. And I mean, it gives you like a cool shave, man. It's the truth. It's the truth. Been working on this since I graduated.
So the importance of that too, right? You're just saying that. I tell students all the time, while you're in school, there should be no dead time. That's times when you can start creating and thinking about a product that you can come up with. Because when you're in the industry, it's kind of, when you work it's hard to kind of sit back and put time off to just kind of come up with ideas. You have a group of peers who are around you, students, who can help you test your product, who can give you great feedback on your product right away. So use that time wise and come up with a product. You came up with 2 great products that I'm pretty sure that's doing really well.
Oh yeah. It's a process, man, but hey, you know what I'm saying? We're still grinding.
Did you start that product in school or was after school?
You know what? I was starting it in school. I was, like you said, I had a lot of time, in between studies. And so I was trying to put a formula, you know what I mean, as a problem solver. I need something that's not gonna put the fear of God in kids, because some kids hate it after haircuts. They don't want the stingy stuff, the burning stuff.
Right.
And then of course, the women don't want to smell, some women don't want to smell masculine. And then a lot of guys don't want a fragrance that's gonna clash with their cologne.
For sure. I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
Yes, sir.
So what were some of the toughest things that you have to deal with in school?
Oh man, test taking. I struggle with taking tests for a minute. You know what I mean?
What helped you? Because whatever you say right now is going to help someone. Because there's going to be a ton of people out there listening, and we have a lot of people who struggle with taking tests. What helped you? What was your formula? How did you study for your tests?
So what I did was I created like a group within the guys in the class. I said, hey man, look, we're all trying to graduate, right? I said, why don't we get together and study as a group? And we would quiz each other, and we would make it fun. You know what I'm saying? So we were kind of motivational partners, man, and accountability partners. Okay. You know what I mean? And that helped me a lot. You know what I mean?
Big.
Yeah.
So another question: do you think if you'd started school earlier, it would be a difference, or you're just happy that you started when you started?
It would have definitely been a difference, and I think about that all the time because I'm doing really well as a barber financially, and I want to shout out to the Indianapolis Colts and one of the Colts barbers, team barbers.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second. That's the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Yeah, man, I don't back then. If I started sooner, I don't think I was mature enough,
right, to
take it serious, and that's to be all the way 1,000. I don't think that I was mature enough. It took life lessons, man, for me to realize, hey, man, if either I stay on the same level, on the same path, man, or I do something to grow. It's going to allow me to grow. You know what I mean? And back then, when I was young, I felt like I had all the time in the world. You know what I mean? When I was like 33, 34 years old, I said, okay, I'm in my mid-30s. This is one of the most important times in my life. Either I make a difference now, I'm never going to make a difference.
So what kind of advice can you offer to someone younger who's in school right now, who's just playing with their thumbs and playing games and not understanding the course or the advantage they have coming at 18, 19, and thinking they have all the time in this world just to not study, not take it serious?
I would first ask them, I would ask them if this is something that they're passionate about doing. If you're not passionate about it, man, it's not gonna, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? I'll find out what it is that they like about this industry. What is it that they feel like they can benefit from being a part of this industry? You know what I mean? If you're passionate about something, you're going to have that same energy on your good days as well as your bad days. You know what I mean? So that will be my first thing. Are you in it for the money? Or are you in it because you can really see yourself becoming a master barber or a master stylist? That will be my first question. And if the question is yes, this is something that they're passionate about. And I'm saying, hey, you know what? This is a great choice. It's a great trade. It requires less than a year, less than 2 years in some cases. You know what I mean? And the sky's the limit, man. When you become a barber, you can do anything you want to do in this industry to be successful. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of young students sometimes, and I talk to them with the school, and I'm like, think about it, this is your career. You're 18 right now.
Yeah.
You have your homeboys coming to pick you up at school to leave early, and they're not doing nothing. Do they really care about your career? I know it's fun that you want to go hang out with them, but they not doing nothing.
Right.
And you 18, you in a good spot. I know it's comfortable and it's easy to go ride around with them, but take advantage of this. And we've all been there. You know what I mean? We've all been there. But the importance of just getting a career, and it's your passion, and you can start it at a young age, that's the next level.
Wow, that is. But it's kind of rough talking to a young person to feel like they have all the time in the world to bump their heads.
Because the object that we think about is taking care of ourselves and our families, having income to do the nice things, go on vacation and buy a house, get a car. And there's nothing wrong with starting that at a young age. Because I tell barbers all the time, if you're really into this and this passion, you can buy a house in your early 20s. You can do these things that your parents didn't do until they was in their 40s and 50s, some of them. You can do that when you like 19, 20, 21, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You save your money, you come to work, you put your head down, you come in early, you leave late. In 10 months after you get your license, you can really put some stuff up for yourself and start a great career at this. And having to run from like 20 to 40 of being a barber.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I thank God I chose this career choice.
So what has been the most difficult part of this journey, though?
One of the most difficult part of this journey, man, getting the respect from other people, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people look at what we do as a hustle, and it's not a hustle. You
Right.
know what I mean? Don't come in here trying to wheel and deal my prices with me. I get that a lot, especially being a businessman of color.
Right.
A lot of people feel like they can wheel and deal your prices. And I had to ask somebody one time, I said, you ever go to McDonald's and wheel and deal a Big Mac price? Of course not. So I'm a business entity just as much as anybody else is, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So it's been the respect, but I mean, for the most part, I get respect, but then you got some people that don't respect what we do.
Well, there's a lot of barbers out there who don't take the trade serious. So I think
Right.
that's where that comes from.
Exactly.
And then we all get groomed. We all get groomed in that category.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate things, because there's brothers like yourself, like myself, and a host of other brothers out there who just grind, and also some women out there too who just grind. A lot of women, a lot of barbers who just grind and put a stamp on this industry to just kind of get that respect. But it's just some that just don't care.
Right. Exactly. And it's sad, man, because they put us all in that category.
Right. And it's unfortunate. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned, though?
Some of the biggest lessons I've learned, man, you can't be a little too nice. You can't be too nice. People will walk over the top of you. I'm the only barber in my shop right now. I have a barber / hair salon. And I would get other people to come in and rent chairs from me, man, and they would fall short on booth rent. You know what I mean? And then I would be the one to cover it, cover their losses, man. And so nobody's really caring about me. So you got to stand firm on who you are as a businessman. You know what I mean? Again, it goes back to that level of respect, whether you're a customer or somebody that's working in my shop. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is a place of business. And we're going to conduct and operate it as a place of business.
How many barbers did you previously have in your shop?
I've had a total of 3.
Okay.
And none of them worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were some of the reasons that didn't work out besides not paying booth rent?
A lot of them didn't take that. They didn't have that grind, that grind like myself. I think I have over like maybe 100, 120 customers.
And
that's huge. And so they would see me getting it back to back, man. I'm getting them in the chair, getting them out of the chair, getting them in the chair, getting them out of the chair. So they're sitting around, wanting to be on my level real fast, but they're not getting out here passing out business cards. They're not posting on social media. You know what I mean? They're
doing community service.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? All that, man. You know what I mean? And so I some of them would get discouraged and say, hey, you know what? I can't, I can't keep up. And I get it. But like I told them what was explained to me, it takes time.
It's a process.
It's a process. You got to, Rome wasn't built overnight.
But the thing is, in business, people want to see that you're solid, that you're there.
Yeah.
Because they want to spend with you. So it's a reason it takes time.
Yeah.
People want to trust your work ethic. Trust that you're going to give them, you're going to be honest with them. You're going to come and give them the same thing that they want from you in a service.
Facts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It has to be reciprocated.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. When a client trusts you, man, you got everything.
I mean, and that's important. And that's one of the lessons we try to talk to barbers about. Hey, you have to build and trust, even like in anything, even it wasn't even in this barber industry, building trust and a friendship in anything, it takes time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Because people, you'll get people that'll sit in your chair, man, and tell you their life story, man. You know what I'm saying? You're like a counselor, man. They'll sit in your chair and open up to you about a lot, man. You know what I mean? That, you're that listening ear to them. You know what I mean? And then when you're done with the cut, you go to show them the mirror, and they're like, "Oh, no, I trust you. I know my cuts fly."
And you know what I'm saying? And that's when you're right. That's when you're there, and it takes time for that.
You know what I mean? And it takes time. Yeah.
Yep. How other ways have you grown since you began your career? How have you grown and changed?
Because, I've realized that again, I don't know it all, and there's always room for growth. Always room for growth. I feel like that's why I named my products Master Barber. You know what I mean? Because I'm constantly telling myself, and I want every barber that's out here in this industry, you know what I'm saying, to view themselves as a master barber. This for all of us. You know what I mean? So I'm always finding ways of bettering my skills, sharpening my skills. You know what I mean? So that when they do seminars here, I still attend them.
For sure. I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
but think about this. As we're going to segue to this point, how have you changed and grown? Now you cutting for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have got to that point if you wasn't trusted, if you wasn't grinded,
exactly.
if you
Exactly.
wasn't available. So
Right.
so talk about that process. How did you grow into that role, and how did it
So
come?
I was still, even like on my slow days, I would still show up and just sit in the shop. You know what I mean? I showing up is a huge part. You know, I know some days you might be like, hey, you know, I don't have a lot of, you know, clients today, so I'm just gonna go home. Nah, I will stick around the shop. And it was funny, true story. I just bought the shop that I'm in now, right? And so Tuesdays were my slow days, like my slowest days. Like I would get like at that time like 5 or 6 clients, you know, on a Tuesday.
Right.
And it's one particular day I didn't have anybody booked. No one called me, no one booked with me. So I showed up. I decided to clean up the shop, make sure that my tools are clean, change my blades out, sharpening my shears. And this big guy walks in and he goes, do you accept walk-ins? And I said, yeah, sure, come on in, have a seat. You know what I mean? I, you know, drape them or whatever. I give him his cut. And I noticed on his shirt, he had the Indianapolis Colts logo. I said, all right, man, this dude like 6'7", you know what I'm saying, 300.
Wow.
And I had to ask him, I said, hey, yo, you play for the Colts? He kind of laughed and said, yeah, something like that. So, man, I'm thinking in the back of my head, yo, I am about to nail this dude, man. Like, give him the best cut.
You about to bless him. Hey,
bro,
Mitch, time
like,
is running out.
Oh, man. Yeah. So anyway, make a long story short, I cut him and he came back like the following week. And then before you know it, I'm getting text message. Hey, LaRaven Clark from the Indianapolis Colts, I'm his teammate. He sent me a number, blah, 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 blah. And man, it was on from there. As a matter of fact, he's playing for the Tennessee Titans. I think he's on an active roster as a Titan. Right. And he drove up here to Indianapolis and got a cut, bro. So yeah.
I mean, that's
showing
big.
up, man.
But and that's important, showing up even on slow days when you're not there.
Yeah.
Because people understand. And I tell students tell students that as well. Come to school. Take that last cut. A lot of students, when it's about an hour left in school, like, they're packing up. I'm like, people are coming. We had an NFL player coming one time too, when we closed at like 4:30. It was like 4 o'clock. He came in. We have doctors coming, and people want to, and that's when your best tips come out at times, when people understand that you're closing and they just want you to be, they just want the service.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's important that you said that it was a slow day, and the dude came. He's like 6'7". You're like, man, who's this dude?
Yeah, no doubt.
And that relationship is fostered because in our business, relationship matters.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it matters. You know what? Sometimes the relationships can be a little too strong, man. Because I get calls and text messages like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes, man. You know, hey man, we want to make sure we get in because my books fill up fast.
Right.
Bad, especially on the weekends.
So when you get them calls late at night or them extra cuts, what are your prices for those extra cuts?
They already know, man. They'll throw me let me see, like 100.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And then some of them, like my coach players, I'll travel to them. You know what I mean? And
I mean, that's big. That's big because it's convenience.
Yeah.
People about that convenience, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But again, I'm passionate. Had I not been passionate about it,
right,
then I'll like it. You know what I mean?
That's big. So now, do you go to the facility and cut there, or you just go to the homes? How does that work?
So my shop is down the street from the facility.
How far? About 5-10 minutes?
About 10 minutes 10 minutes at best. And so they will leave practice and come to me, or the superstars. I'll travel to them.
The superstars.
Yeah.
So typically, how many do you have, like a Colts day where the barbers, where the players come to the shop and you shut it down for them, or you just do strictly appointments where just you get in when you fit in?
Get in where you fit in. Strictly appointments. They fall in place like everybody else.
I mean, that's what's up. That's and that's respect for your other clients too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one question I wanted to ask you said you enjoy cutting by yourself. Mm. What do you find as a plus and a disadvantage by cutting by yourself?
Well, cutting by myself, I I get that one-on-one because I do appointments only, so that
Mhm.
it's just me and that client. You know what I mean? I get that one-on-one time with them, you know, and it's like therapy for some guys,
Right.
you know, because some guys come to the shop, man, and they just escape the world, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So that's the advantage. The disadvantage, I don't really, you know what? I've never thought about it being a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's sometimes I have nobody to talk to. I mean, but you know,
Right.
yeah, really, I don't I don't see a big disadvantage.
Because basically
Because
you're in like a suite right now. I mean, a lot
yeah,
of barbers are moving to suites.
yeah,
I had a conversation with a guy one time at a hair show, and he said one of the things about when you work by yourself in a suite is that, of course, you don't have nobody to talk to, but being around other barbers, you learn tricks and trades from them as well.
right,
Because
right,
other barbers are going to come with something that you having a hard time trying to come up with. Because if you're in a shop with about 5 or 6, 7 barbers and all of them go to continuing education courses, a lot of times they will come back and share something with you. Some
right,
barbers don't share nothing. They'll try to
yeah,
keep it for themselves, but you'll have 2 or 3 barbers come like, yo, I learned this. So I
right,
think that's a pro, and there's a pro and a con to that.
yeah, yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt, no
But
doubt.
that's big. That's big. So, and
Yeah.
you've had your shop now when you got out of school, did you go into a shop or you just open your shop instantly?
No, actually, I went into a salon,
Mm.
hair salon. Yeah, I went into a hair salon, Indie Beauty, and I was like 5 beauticians and 5 of us barbers. And I remember being that barber who didn't have a lot of clients.
Mm.
Everybody's working, but I'm sitting back like, man, when this is gonna have work for me? When this is gonna work? And I ain't gonna lie, man, I was hating on other barbers that were eating.
Oh man, no, you was not hating. You wasn't doing that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. So what I did, was I went out and I put a sign out in front of the shop. And
Proactive.
yeah, but here's the thing, it helped, but it didn't help. I put a sign, I put $10 cuts. So everybody was charging like 20, 30 bucks a head. I was charging $10 just to get people in my seat.
Right.
So the clientele started to build, but then after a while, everybody, when I went to raise prices, everybody, yo, what happened to the $10 cuts? I'm like, bro, I have you in the chair now, man. Yo, I got what I wanted out of you, bro. But
Right.
that's the only downside to doing that, man. But I went out and got business cards. I got creative. I did like the little $100 bill business cards with my face on the card and had
Right.
pictures of my images of my cuts on the back. You know what I mean? And man, I would just go out and pass them out. And then every cut that I would do, I'll post on social media. You know, I got into different barbering competitions, man, and you know, with some prayer and fasting, man, things just started to grind. You know, but I mean, it took time, man. It was like 3 years before I started making the money that I wanted to make, and I had a night job while cutting hair, man.
And so was that 3 years out of school or just 3 years with the combined of you going to school? Because I think in my mind, I tell students, I kind of did a case study on my own, just like following students and seeing where people hit their strides. I think most barbers hit their strides from the first day you start school to hitting your stride. It's about school. School takes about 10 months to a year, about a year and a half to 2 years after that when you hit your
Yeah,
strides. And that's about 3 years, like you said.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
So about between 2.5 to 3 years, that's when barbers hit their strides.
Yeah,
And it's just not gonna happen overnight. And
right,
barbers get into school and they get so frustrated because they compare themselves to other barbers. And you want to make the money that a barber who's been cutting hair for like 20 years or who's
right,
built up his clientele for 5 years. That's not realistic.
right.
And then you complain and you get frustrated because you're not on the same timeline. You're not gonna be.
Exactly.
It's not realistic. You're not gonna be.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
talk about that a little bit? And you was cutting hair like 20 years before that. And you said
yeah.
it still took you about 3 years to hit your stride.
Exactly. And the guys that were in it before me, they developed that. They had that trust. They had
Right.
that clientele that trusted, that knew that they would sit in their chair and get that experience. And then I am the new kid on the block.
Right.
They didn't know me from a can of paint. You know what I mean? So that, you know, it took time for people to see what I was about and what I could do.
That's big. So what advice do you have for students? Because you remember you the reason why you're so great, Bryan, because again, you was cutting hair for 20 years and then you went back to be a student. a lot of people would not, they would think it would be too humbling to go back. And a lot of guys, I know some guys right now who have been cutting for 15, 20 years, and it's just hard for them to go back because they're comfortable, but they're stuck in a path where they can't grow. Right. And then they get to the point where they're like, man, what's going on? And it's harder the longer you wait to go in. But check this out. We're going to take a 2-second break so we can reset this the Zoom, and we're going to come right back on. We're going to send to you again, all right? Word, we back. Yes, sir, we back. Back in business. So I was saying, what word of advice would you give to students?
Students that are in school?
Yeah, what kind of advice would you give the students, P?
Hey, thug it out, tough it out. It's going to be all worth it. You're on a path of becoming your own boss. You're on a path of becoming something really great in this industry. You know what I mean? Because you're not just a barber, you're like a barber surgeon. You know what I mean?
Right.
See yourself as in the medical field. You know, this is a life-changing career, no doubt.
I mean, and it's a good career. It's a good money-earning career. It's a good path to change your trajectory of your life, to take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah, facts. Absolutely.
And for something like that, you have to put in the work. You have to understand it's a process. You have to understand it's not going to happen overnight. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I love what I do so much, man. I can't see myself doing anything different.
So if it's one thing that you'd like to say to your instructors, what would it be? Because, you know, they're going to listen to this podcast. You're going to send them and they'll be like, man, this dude's on here and he didn't give me a shout out and say nothing about.
And my instructor, Miss Sheila Kinney, I want to thank you for not accepting my excuses. I want to thank you for not allowing me to give up. I want to thank you for being harsh. I want to thank you for the encouragement. And I want to thank you for continuing to do what you do, you know what I mean, with the ups and downs of all the different personalities and the different students, you know what I mean, at all levels that are coming in to learn what you know.
And that's big because a lot of times students come in and they just blame everything and everyone around them.
Yeah.
And not looking in the mirror and understanding for you to grow. It's a time you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, what am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you run out of blaming people, what is there?
Right. I mean, it's not going to get anything done.
Because again, this is a wonderful career. This is a wonderful industry. Yeah. And what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
That's with anything in life, man.
Well, that's with anything in life.
Yeah.
Yep. So how often, how much time, how many hours a week do you work in the shop? How much time do you put in?
Wow, put it like this, man. It makes it difficult to be in a relationship. It makes it hard to be in a relationship, man, because my weekends, man, oh, wow. I'm here. I put in 12 hours on Fridays, 12 hours on Saturdays, about 8 to 10 Monday through Thursday. So I spend a lot of time in the shop.
So you do six days a week?
I do 6 days. I do 6 days. Yeah, because if I don't do 6 days, then can you imagine, you know what I mean? The extra hours, the hours I spend on Monday added to on top of what I spend Tuesday through Saturday.
So would you be open to taking someone else in the shop who would take off some of that stress off of you?
I would, but it's like, man, my barbers trust me, my clients trust me so much. Right. They won't go to anybody else, man. They don't go to anybody else, man. I had a guy, man, that I couldn't get to for a while, bro, and he refused to go to anybody else.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what's your Instagram, and where can people find you if they want to holler at you if they come to Indianapolis, or just a casual listener from around the country, around the world, who want to hit up Bryan Lomax?
So I'm on Instagram, Master Barber Bryan Lomax, Bryan with a Y. That's Instagram and Facebook, and then TikTok, Master Barber 317.
So are you taking new clients, or are you just like tapped out?
You know what, man? It's funny because I'm always taking new clients. I'm always taking new clients. I mean, I may be tapping out pretty soon, but there's always room for new clients, man. I don't turn anybody away.
Now, for you, is that end game? Because, you know, in every businessman, you have to have an exit plan. is there an exit plan for you? How much longer do you see yourself in this industry? And if there's an end game, where is it and how do you see that?
So the
developing?
goal, I'm going back to school, believe it or not, as busy as I am. I'm going back to get my instructor's license. This
Big.
fall. Yeah. And I'm planning to open up schools in Africa.
That's dope.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm gonna come from behind the chair, maybe in my 50s, mid 50s, and
Right.
focus on, teaching what I was taught.
Right. Do you have a specific place in Africa already? You just
I have a lot of Nigerian clients.
okay.
And yeah, so it'll definitely be in Nigeria. And I eventually want to go to Ghana and open up a school in Ghana. Yeah.
That's big. And if anybody's listening out there, hit up my man Bryan, because I think that's big. I mean, going international, that's something I'd like to do myself as I'm into the school industry. I'd love to do some international things, but we'll talk about that off camera and link up and talk about this. So what do you see yourself as far as like, you talk about us being more than just a barber to our clients. What does mental health play in you as a barber when you speak to your clients or for yourself? What role
I got
does
to
it
make
play?
sure, man. Well, it plays a huge part, because if I come in with bad vibes, people pick up on energies. You know what I mean? Something as simple as putting a smile on somebody's face. You know what I mean? I mean, there's nothing like seeing a customer smile after a good haircut, man. You know what I mean? It's therapeutic, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I got to make sure, it can be heavy sometimes, you know what I mean? But I got to stay positive all the time, man. And I know that's kind of hard to do nowadays, man. But, I gotta be on my best. I gotta live my best life. You know what I'm saying? I gotta eat right. I gotta stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? If I get sick, man, with the flu, you know what I mean? That's a few days, man. My clients got to go without cuts. You know what I mean? So I have to take care of myself. You know what I mean? Keep the vibrations high, keep the energy high. You know what I mean? Because I want to keep this shop. I want to keep this shop positive, and I want to, I want my positiveness to be contagious.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's big. Because I'm part of the Confess Project of America, the first national barbershop movement with mental health with barbers in the country. And I think that's important, but we'll talk about that off the air too. I think that's important. That's an important role that we play in our community, just being advocates for our clients and just understanding our clients listen to us and our clients trust and believe in us. So we have to give back something as well, let them know, hey, it's okay to not be okay. Because a lot of times people are going through stuff and they will share it with you, but sometimes you have to kind of try to pick up on to kind of perk them up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's important to understand mental health play a major role in what we do as barbers, because our clients need us and we need our clients too.
Yeah, no doubt.
One hand washes the other, but we need our clients just like they need us. And it's important to be able to take care of each other. And that's a major role.
Oh yeah.
That's big. So in your area, how do the barbers connect? Do you guys connect in your area? I know you want to talk about that, how you guys connect? Do you guys get together? Or do you guys is there a big show in Indianapolis, or do you go to continuing education shows outside of Indy?
Well, before COVID, we used to have a lot of shows, 2019 and 2020, but 2019 to 2021, a lot of it slowed down, you know what I mean? Because, we all that social distance and stuff. But we've gotten a lot better with connecting, you know what I mean? Because at first, you know what I mean? In the beginning, it was a competition, you know what I mean? And so it's not so much of a competition anymore, especially, when it comes to, people of color in this industry, man, we tend to try to outdo the next person. Come to my shop because I cut better. You know what I mean? And we had to realize, it's room for everybody at the table, man.
Plenty.
Iron top is iron, man.
It's plenty, because I look at barbering as a fraternity. I look at barbering as a group of, I can see a barber meet a barber on the plane or meet a barber anywhere, and I can have a conversation for days. And I love meeting barbers from around the world, just like you connected with me and like, hey, what's up? You guys do something really dope and interesting. how can I be a part? You know, and it's like, it was nothing but love. Yo, B, what's up? What's going on? I want you to come and share your story, let people know what you do, where you are, how you do it. And that's how it should be,
Yeah,
because
no doubt.
it's enough for all of us out. It's plenty.
Yes.
It's
Plenty.
plenty. And whatever your niche is, you just have to find it and hone it, because it is plenty out there for all of us. It's enough to pass around. It's enough for all of us to learn and grow together.
Yeah.
Because every barber, I believe, cuts differently. Every barber has their own style of cutting. And there's enough people who will love your style and love you for who you are, who sit in your chair. But you have to grow that organically. And it's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Right. Facts. Yes.
Yeah, that's big. So, I mean, I know you want to shout out your clients and would you guys say something to your clients? You want to say thank you or something to your clients, because they got to check out this episode and see what you're saying about them too.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to thank everybody that supported me and everybody that believes in me and understand, the sky's the limit. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying? As I continue to do what I do, I'm learning new things. I'm meeting new people, and I'm growing. You know what I mean? So thank you. You know what I mean? I mean it this is from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all the support. And if there's any way that I can support you in whatever it is you do, you know what I mean? Don't hesitate. Holler at me.
I know you cut a lot of those NFL players. Do you consider yourself a celebrity barber?
You know what? I do. At first I didn't, but I mean, it is what it is. I am. You know what I mean?
And talk about that. How in your mind, what is the best way to build relationships to sustain it when you give yourself that title? Because a lot of barbers, I think their goal is to be up there, to be a celebrity barber and cut celebrities, cut athletes. And what is one advice you would give to people who are looking to latch onto that niche?
Just continue to give the best cut. Every time you cut those clippers on, you got somebody in your chair, give it your best. You know what I mean? Because your work speaks for itself. When I meet celebrities, the first thing they ask is, hey, do you have Instagram? And I say, yeah. So they'll look at, they'll base their decision off what they see on my Instagram page. So continue to put your best foot forward.
What about the most important thing you said about showing up, just being there when you were slow?
Got to be there. You got to be attentive. You got to show up. Be on time. You know what I mean? Don't be, late. You know what I mean? Treat it as if you were working for somebody else. Clock it in.
And think about that. That's a slow day. You could have easily said, I'm not going in today.
Right.
You could have easily been like, I ain't going in today. And dude showed up.
And then I would have been out. Yeah.
So you remember that encounter, how it happened and when it happened? Just elaborate on that before I know our time has come, but I want you to elaborate on it, because a lot of guys don't understand. Barbers will case people coming into their shop and be like, no, I ain't cutting him. I ain't cutting her. No, they don't look like they're going to tip. Oh, it's a slow day. You cut him. You cut her. You barbers do that all the time. You've seen it.
Yeah. You never know who you're cutting. You never know who's sitting in your chair. Treat people as if you want, as the Bible said, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. You know what I'm saying? Treat people with the respect that you want to receive. You know what I mean?
So you cut this brother hair the first time, and then you cut him. Then he came the following week, and I guess you was cutting him the whole season. You probably still cutting the brother. So how was there any like nervous anxiety of trying to just do it real perfect, or you just have your system where you just do your thing no matter who it is?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I was crazy nervous, man. My palms were sweating, man. Trying to hold those clippers in my hand. You know what I mean? I was afraid to make mistakes, but I just kept telling myself, you got this. You got this. This is the beginning of something big.
Right.
Into something big, man. And I'm telling you, man, when I did it, like I said I was gonna nail this dude. I was gonna, you know what I mean? I did just that. Before you know it, I had the whole D line.
The whole D line. Who's on the D line? Who was on the D line that year?
It was on D line that year. DeForest Buckner. It just got traded from San Francisco. Here, Grover Stewart. You know what I'm saying? Yannick Ngakoue. What's my man name? Dio Odiangbo. Then I started getting coaches, man. You know what I'm saying? The coaches are coming here.
I mean, plus you close, you close to the facility, and
so it's convenient. So yeah.
And you're doing great work. That's number one. And you showing up.
Yes. But had I not showed up that day, man, you know what I mean? Got to show up, students, show up to class.
But it's funny because there was one student, he usually pack up, and I get on students like, don't pack up early. And this one guy came in and he cut his hair, and it ended up being like the CEO of a hospital.
Oh, wow.
And he left him, the haircut's $8. He left him like $100 tip.
Whoa.
And he was like, man, I'm happy I stayed and cut this.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like you said, you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
So you have to treat each client the same, and each client with the same respect and the same efficiency that you're going to cut every hair.
Exactly. So no matter who it is sitting in my chair, you're a superstar to me.
No doubt. And stop judging people who come through that door and be, oh, I ain't cutting them.
Right.
They're not going to tip. You don't know what people going through. You don't know what kind of relationship or who you're going to build with them or who they're going to have coming your way.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful how you treat people when they come into your shop or when they come into the chair to get a haircut. You have to be consistent.
Exactly. Consistency. Yeah.
Because again, on that Monday, on that Tuesday, if you didn't show up, you don't know. It probably would have came eventually.
Yeah.
But it's easy for somebody to say, man, his signs say 8 to 5 on Tuesday, and he ain't showing up.
Right.
I ain't going back. Just that one time, because them dudes, everybody, time is important.
The money, yeah, no doubt.
And then just that one time when you say you open and you're not there, and they show up, they might never come back again. Oh, don't go down there.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you coming on. What's your lasting words you want to say to students or people in the industry about the barber industry? Any words of advice? Anything you'd like to give? Because, all good things have to come to an end, but I just appreciate you. I've been trying to get you on this episode for a long time, and you came on. So what's your lasting words? Any type of word of advice you want to give to up-and-coming barber? Something that they can grab onto, that they could hold on to, that's going to have their career going. Keep them in this game for the long haul.
Yeah, I would like to say, understand that you are in a very, very important field. You're holding the key to your lifetime happiness in this industry. You made a great career choice. Stick with it. Don't give up. Get out here. Get money.
Simple.
Real simple.
Simple. Because I think we have one of the best industries in the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, AI is coming. AI is going to take over everything, but it can't take over.
It can't take, exactly.
How does that make you feel when you hear that?
It makes me feel great, man. I remember they had some little video during COVID where they were doing the bowl cuts. People put the bowls on top of it. Remember that? And they would take and then that, man, come on now. Seriously. Yo, you can't. Nah. AI cannot take over.
That short style is dead.
Exactly.
No doubt. So what kind of instructor are you going to be? You talked about being an instructor, and what's your timeline for that? Is that a year, 2 years out? What's your timeline for that?
Actually, I'm going to do it this fall. I'm going back to school this fall. And I think here to be an instructor is like 500 hours here. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it'll take me only half the time it took me in school. But I'm gonna continue to do that, man. Even when I feel like I'm old and can't push. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to do it, and then I'm going to train other guys to do it when I'm like, in my, God willing, 70s and 80s. You know what I mean?
Continual education. Is a must. Do you guys have an apprenticeship program in Indianapolis?
We do not.
What do you feel about it? You think that's something that's needed or something that?
I feel like if we do that, then I don't want them to take away from the classroom part. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want them to feel like, hey, yo, as long as I can be, if I can be an apprentice, I don't need to sit down and get the book work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's important too.
Well, in Tennessee, how we have an apprentice program, you have to complete 750 hours and complete the book work, and then you can do an apprenticeship program at a shop. You're not cutting. You're going in there and watching how the shops ran, and then you take your test at 750, your theory, and then you take your practical at the end. But they also have some states have a apprentice program like in Virginia where you can just do the apprentice program at your own leisure, and you have to be under a licensed master barber in the state in the shop. And I think it's like, it takes about 18 months to 2 years to complete that. And a lot of students jump to that. And different circumstances of different people, but I'm with you. I think it's important to get in the classroom and get the theory part and just be an instructor who can help you alleviate some stress and avoid some mistakes that you can avoid.
Yeah.
Because everybody feels they could just do it on their own.
Right. Nah. Can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
Lots of learn.
Yeah. Like a lot of students, they stop when they get a little comfortable, they stop cutting, start coming to school, and they cutting at their house. And I'm like, hey, just knock this out. You are delaying your progress. You are delaying your time of finishing school. Knock it out.
Right, exactly. And don't forget, you get like some discounted benefits of beauty supply stores.
Right. But the relationship that you built in the school with your barbers and the students that's second level too.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
That's big. That's big. Well, B, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. You know, every episode is amazing. And everyone who comes on the podcast, you have to come again. It's just not a one-time thing. We upwards of like past 140 episodes. We're really rocking right now. And, you know, we around the country, around the world, top 5 countries, the US, Australia, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Iceland. We got some heavy hitters out there who listen to this podcast. So it's important that the information we share, it helps people grow. It helps people understand that this industry is a serious industry. It's not a part-time job. It's not a part-time thing. This is a full-time thing for if you believe in yourself and you want to make some good money and build your career and do some great things with your community. I'm a big advocate for it. Again, Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cutz Academy, JC, Crown Cutz Academy, Bristol, Virginia, and Proficient Nail Academy, downtown Johnson City. Spreading love, the JC way is one way. Spreading love, the Tri-City way is one way. But you know what? Spreading love, the Crown Cutz way is the only way. Got my man B. Lomax on the set, spreading great information to you guys out there. If somebody want to hit you up or want to send you some information, someone want to get with you, where can they find you, B? I know you talked about your Instagram, and if you want to share your phone number, what you're doing, talk about your product before we get off air, here's your shot, my man. Do your thing.
Yes, sir. Master Barber Products. It's a diverse brand dedicated and designed to fulfill the needs of barbers and stylists who service clients of all skin type: men, women, children, elderly men, and men with sensitive skin conditions. You can call me directly. I'm going to put my number out there. I can be reached at 317-658-6162, 317-658-6162. Or again, hit me up Instagram, Master Barber Bryan Lomax, Bryan with a Y. Facebook, same thing, Master Barber Bryan Lomax, Bryan with a Y. And TikTok is Master Barber 317.
And how much does the product cost? And do they come together? Do they come separately? And
they come separately. They go for $8.99 per bottle.
Okay, great. Again, before we get off, spread some love, B, and you know what I'm saying, take us off the air. Whatever you want to say.
Yo, shout out to everybody that decided to make barbering and cosmetology their career choice. Again, the sky's the limit. Get out there, get money.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, B. We're going to talk some more off the air. And again, appreciate you, my guy. Spreading love.
Much love, humble, man.
Indeed, one.
Yes, sir, one.